chair over here.
It's very nice.
It's really nice.
Okay.
It's giving vacation vibes. Maybe I just want to
Did I tell you about the shirt earlier?
What?
Everybody's looking sharp.
See,
Y'all look
me and Nkosi have this blue going
Yes.
on.
Yes. It's
And
exactly
you know what?
orange
Actually,
here.
our colors kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blend. There's like a moment here.
Yeah, but I really feel like I'm tying it all together.
That's true.
Come on,
Black woman always.
I like
Always.
that. I like
Black
that.
woman. Okay.
I'll take that.
Firstly, y'all are really beautiful. Welcome to the space.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I have to say, I have a lot of fun with y'all in general. Whenever we connect, wherever in whatever space, it's a moment.
We
It's
do
a,
it.
it's a party.
It's a kiki.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I really love that. So I am Chesray Dolpha, and I'm the Artistic Director at the Broadway Advocacy Coalition. This is our In Conversation series, previously done at BAC, and these are the dope people from BAC, and we're about to get a poppin' today, baby.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Richard. Tell us who you are.
My name is Richard Gray. I work at BAC as one of the founding board members, and I am Black History. I'll turn it over to my sister here.
Hi, I'm Andrea Ambam. I am a facilitator and mentor at Broadway Advocacy Coalition,
All right.
and I am Black History.
You really are.
I am Nkosi Cain. I am the Director of Community Engagement and Advocacy. I am Black History.
Okay.
Ooh,
You said
I
that.
felt that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, y'all, I have to say my whole thing too. I am Chesray. Okay, that's on Grace. I am Chesray Dolpha. I'm the Artistic Director, and at BAC, and I am Black History, baby.
Black History and Black Future.
There you
Black
go.
Future?
There you go.
And Black
There you go.
Future.
There you
I
go.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that we can talk about future now and dream. Like we have space to dream about what that future could be for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We deserve that.
We deserve that. I feel like I especially learned that from BAC and thinking about the dreaming in the future.
The reimagining.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, let's get it popping. So our producing team, who is very cute, very intentional,
Very nice.
okay, set up this little moment for
Yes.
us for this In Conversation series. Let's dig into this goodness. So I'm going to start first. Is that okay with y'all?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you
Okay.
nervous?
A little bit.
Okay.
Don't be.
We have to.
You're amongst
Should
friends
I
here,
be?
right?
No.
I hope it's not scandalous. I'm here for advocacy.
We don't know what is
okay? Let's keep it tidy, y'all, okay? All right, so I'm gonna read this, okay? But before we do this, let's imagine this, right, y'all? I love a good kitchen moment. So let's say this is like my
Absolutely.
kitchen table,
All right.
okay? What drinks do y'all like? Like, what would we be drinking right now?
I have some Prosecco.
Oh, it's fancy. Okay,
I'm a brown liquor kind of person,
Okay.
so Scotch or rye.
got you.
That's right.
On ice, neat.
Neat. No,
Okay, got you.
Absolutely.
I feel so much pressure right now because
Why?
the like child in me wants to be like, I'll take a Sprite,
There you go.
but then
ice.
later you put it on ice.
On ice.
Sprite on ice. That's my drink.
Yeah, nobody's mad at you. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah.
Okay.
So is that yours?
That's
Sprite
my
and ice?
drink.
I got you, absolutely. I'll do a gin and tonic
Okay.
with some lime, and let's get it popping.
Okay.
Okay. All right, y'all. So let me read my question. I really hope that this producing team is on my side. Ooh, okay. What makes a space dedicated to centering Black people revolutionary? What makes a space dedicated to centering Black people's revolution or revolutionary? Okay, so this is what I think, and I want to hear what y'all think. Okay,
Absolutely.
you know, sometimes when you walk into spaces, especially with Black people, you know when people are free in a space. You can see it by the humor, by the jokes, by the comments, the side little kikis. Like we love to take up the space when we are really centered in our space of joy. So that's how I know when a space is centered and really preparing Black people to be Black revolutionaries or being revolutionary. So that's what I always look for, like, where's the humor, where's the jokes, where's the kiki? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when I know, like, okay, this is my space. Of course, we get serious when we need to. Okay? We really do.
At any moment.
Any moment,
Okay.
if it is necessary, okay? But other than that, I think we try to always have fun when we move in spaces, you know, and have joy. What about you, Nkosi?
You know, I'm reminded of this quote by Nikki Giovanni.
Okay.
Nikki Giovanni said, even though she was poor, she didn't know she was poor because she had love, and that love equated to wealth, right? And so growing up, in my own experience, my community was all black, right? Everything about my latter years from about age 1 to about 10 was total black experience. And in that immersive blackness, there was love, there was belonging, there was community, there was edification, there was protection. And so I've come to learn that black spaces can be a place of belonging, a place of nurturing, it could be a place of cultivation, but also it could be a place that will beat your ass, right? Like it could be a place that will hold you accountable to what our family deem to be righteous and ethic principles.
Absolutely. Our grandmothers will call us in and they will check us real quick.
Yeah, other people's grandmothers will call you and check you.
Okay, and that's a community.
That's right.
That's actually
That was hard to learn.
That is hard.
And also, you know, and to transpose that into our corporate spaces, sometimes when you look externally is predominantly white spaces, right? And so to carve out some spaces where people of color or black people in particular can have a place for themselves to redefine what their own reality is, to redefine what imagination is, to dream their own dreams. I think that's not only transformative but revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what freedom is.
Come on now.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
So,
all right, let's see what our team left you, and let's hope they kept it tidy
I'm
for you
excited.
too. Okay.
First of all, I think the production team is trying to stump me because
Not a conspiracy theory on our door.
this might not be a heavy question.
It might be.
How do you make Broadway a space that feels welcoming to all? This is a good question. I think one of the ways that Broadway could feel like a space that's welcoming to all is first to provide an opportunity for authentic and non-traditional pieces to get showcased on Broadway, right? Like original content, authentic content that may not have gone through some of the channels that arrived, that at the end of the tunnel is Broadway, right? Take some non-traditional approaches, some non-traditional stories, and some narratives from impacted communities, right? And showcase those narratives and allow the people for their own interpretation. Also, making space for these types of, curating a space for these type of narratives also creates discussion that leads to systems change, that leads to agency, autonomy, etc. Andrea, what do you think about that? How do you make Broadway a space that feels welcoming for all?
I love that answer, first of all, and thinking about like the range of stories that need to be included on Broadway.
Non-traditional at that
Non-traditional, right?
That's right.
Not what we are used to seeing, what we relate to Broadway. I also think in my ultimate vision, we completely decentralize Broadway as the place where all the amazing things happen. There's amazing stories and theater happening all over the country, all over the world, all over our cities, not just on Broadway. But I'll also say, as someone who's been a facilitator with BAC's Reimagining Equitable Productions workshop, right? And we're going inside of these Broadway shows, off-Broadway touring shows, and we're working with them on what equity can look like in their space. When we talk to a lot of the people who are at the top of the power dynamic, right? The producers, the people who have the money, who are funding the show, especially coming back from 2020 in this reckoning, there's a lot of like, well, we said that this space is safe, and we said that people can come to us for whatever they need. But it's like, okay, but then you have to prove that, because for all these years, people have faced retaliation. They've been put out anytime they've vocalized their needs.
Microaggressions, macroaggressions.
Yes, exactly. So I'm saying Broadway has something to prove. If you're going to say that you're welcoming to all, then you have to actually take the time to set the spaces up so that people feel that way. You can't just say it, because history has shown. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be about it. No, you gotta be about it.
About it.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just talk about it, be about it. My father used to say that.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is interesting. Well, somebody left you a gift.
Yes, I think it's got your name on it.
I'm scared because I don't know, this producing team.
Yes, they're
We
coming.
don't know.
They're coming with it so far. They're coming with it.
Okay, mine's long. I like that. Okay. I hear a noise.
Sounds like an ice cream machine.
That's the angels coming down.
That's not my phone, is it? No. Okay.
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 All right, it's open.
Yes.
We're back.
Whew. This work can be exhausting. Given the challenges of navigating as a change agent in a predominantly white space, a space that was not built for Black artistry to thrive, a space literally coined the Great White Way,
Oh, Lord.
what is the driving force behind you speaking truth to power? Ooh,
Great
with it
White
on that
Way.
one.
I have to
Came
clutch
with it on
my
that one.
neck, my
There
bones.
you go.
Oh,
Could she come back to
Lord.
that?
right? I'm like, I need a second.
Can I come back to this?
Ooh.
I think, what is the driving force behind your speaking truth to power? I think I have a lot of driving forces, but I want to bring something in that, again, I've learned so much from BAC and being a part of this organization now for, I guess, leaning into 2 years. And at first I was an Artivism Fellow, and now I'm a mentor and facilitator in the Artivism Fellowship. And we're having a session with all of these fellows who are coming in who have these dream projects, just like I did, about ways in which they reimagine this world, ways in which that are revolutionary, where they see stories that we haven't centered before finally centered. And we're coming in and we're also thinking about how this relates to policy, how this relates to change and reform, and the reform that we want to see that doesn't actually set us back. And our Theater of Change policy advisor, Sonia, who came in and talked to the group, said something that really changed my way of thinking about literally everything. But she was talking about the history of kind of law and policy. And she talks about the way in which lawyers at the beginning can be taught, they eventually use storytelling when they're in court, but they're kind of taught to really kind of extract the story or extract the humanity of it and really think of it in a very legal, sometimes rigid way. And I was like, wow. So I thought about the ways in which the systems around us know how powerful the role of storytelling is.
Okay.
That they would make a specific point to make sure, take that
extract
stuff,
the
take that out.
Right.
Take that out.
Right.
Especially when it comes to Black people. Let a Black person tell a story.
Whoa, Lordy.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's standing up. The bowl is filled with money. There's action. People are activated.
You got to participate in that story.
Yeah. It's a back and forth.
back
It's
and
a back
forth.
and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
for sure.
storytellers.
No
And
doubt.
so my driving force in speaking truth to power is because I know I was born to do that.
Yes.
And I know that any space that is not allowing me to do that is because they know my power.
Yes.
Right. And so I'm trying to reach my full potential. I'm trying to reach my full power, and then also encourage everyone around me to reach their full power as well. So my driving force is because I know that I've come into this earth with this power, with this mission, with this goal, and anything stopping me is just trying to deter my goal.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful perspective because you're looking at it from what you have versus what you don't have.
Exactly.
And that is so powerful.
And using what you have to get what you need.
Yeah. Richard, you are a BAC goat.
Hey!
Okay. NOG.
You can take that a couple different ways. You can take that a couple different ways, right?
Okay?
You can be the Grace all time. We could be Billy Goat. It can go either way. Depends on
No,
what you
that's
catch.
Billy Goat.
I got you.
I want to know what your answer is. What is the driving force behind you speaking truth to power?
Well, I think, and I appreciate your answer, and I loved your answer, and I got to keep up with this cipher going on here. There was, I think for me, my mother always took me to anything that had Black people, any place. So I saw Alvin Ailey. I went to see Pearlie. I was really disappointed because I wanted to see Cleavon Little as Pearlie, and he was sick at the time. And I remember, and I don't want to see this understudy. I'm saying, who's this guy, Robert Guillaume? And he was straight fire in him. But my first time ever seeing a production is 1969. My mother took me to New York City to see Pearl Bailey and Cab Calloway and Hello Dolly. Right? And I just remember this experience of being this kid. And I had seen Pearl Bailey on TV, but we were up in the balcony, in the cheap seats, but she was right there. She was right there. You know? And I remember tapping my mom and saying, that's Pearl Bailey right there. She said, I told you we were coming to see her, but you don't understand, that's her right there. Right? Yeah. And there's something really very powerful about being able to come to a production and see yourself in that production.
Yo, for real.
There was a production, the Negro Ensemble did a production that was showcased on TV in 1975. And I remember seeing the characters on it, and I said, these aren't caricatures, right? They aren't made up Black folks. There was a texture and realness to it, right? And that's when people tell stories that are real. And I really feel like this is a time for artists, right? I work in in education. I work at the Metro Center, and we do a lot of work around research. And this is a time where somebody will take a fact and they'll just dismiss it. But there's something about art, right? When you bring together, it speaks to people's hearts and souls in ways that you can't deny their humanity.
Absolutely.
So I think this is really a time for artists to be able to do that. And I believe that one of the things that I've loved about BAC is that it brings together committed artists with voices of people and communities, all brought together by a shared commitment to social justice. And that combination is very powerful.
Yes.
And in many ways, it is kryptonite to the BS that's out there. So I really think that this is a moment for artists, moment for organizations like BAC and a range of organizations that are really pushing for these kinds of stories and social justice to not only be on Broadway, but to use that vehicle to bring it to the rest of the world.
You know, in addition, I think that there's two things that's at play also, right? There's access and proximity. And for most grassroots artists and artists from non-traditional fields do not have access to Broadway, right? And so if we don't have access to Broadway, we don't have access to power. And if we're not in proximity to even have these discussions, right? We got to create that proximity. We got to create that access. And so BAC is well positioned to create that access, that opportunity, that proximity, and reimagining how we engage Broadway so that Broadway can better inform humanity.
Exactly.
Right?
That's right, that's right. And to come off of Broadway and out into the community.
Yes,
One of the first experiences that I had with BAC is that they were working with us at the Metro Center with a group called the Alliance for Quality Education. And they were going up to Albany to push for money that they were owed through a campaign for fiscal equity. It was like $3.4 billion owed to New York City. Right? So they would go up every year. And BAC rode on that bus with those folks and those parents and community members, and they talked with them and they engaged with them, and then they created original works, right? They didn't wait for them to come to them. They went to them and were in their spaces, right? And created a space that, something that was just more powerful than the combination of their parts. And so I just think that's the way you have to do it. You have to meet people where they are, but when you do, they are going to surprise you with their capacity and the ways that they're able to move the world.
Folks, I know that we have digested all of our gifts. Maybe the producers.
I think I'm left.
Oh, Richard was just preaching without.
I was about to go off of that and say, listen here, I thought about this and that. Yo, we were deep in the cipher.
Let me open my gift. It's got my name on it and everything.
Well, listen.
All right.
I'm excited for this.
Okay, now before I can answer this question, we need to cue up the sound of my brother Britton at giving his Tony speech. Yes.
That's very exciting. Let's do it.
Let's hear that.
Let's do it.
I've been thinking about power and change and where it lives and where it comes from, and it's in this room right here. It's in this room right here. Oh, man. And when this room decides to move beyond design and say, we want this room to look different, let's design this room for next year and the year after, that's when we'll earn the phrase Black Lives Matter. That's when we'll earn the phrase Black Lives Matter. That's when we'll earn the phrase Black Lives Matter. BAC.
So here's my question here. It says, Britton asked us to consider our roles in earning the phrase Black Lives Matter in the theater. When considering the we in this context and the lifelong commitment it takes to earn the phrase, what words would you impart on our community? So I thought a little bit about this, and what I thought about was that scene, the last one of the last scenes in Saving Private Ryan. Right? You're there when I think it was Captain Miller, he's just about to die, and he looks at Private Ryan and says, earn this. Right? And then you flash to him coming back to Normandy years later at that man's grave. And he looks at his family and says, please tell me I've been a good person. Please tell me I've lived a good life, right? Because he felt he owed that to the man that saved his life. And in many ways, that's the way that I feel, and I think that we feel. We've had, our ancestors have struggled to bring us to this point, right? And they have sacrificed so much for us, right? And I think each generation has a responsibility to say, what am I doing to earn what they've done for me, right? And it isn't not just a hashtag. It is a hashtag, but it's not just that. It isn't just what you wear in a shirt. It is that. It isn't what you yell at a protest. It's not that, right? It is how you live your life, right? Are you living your life to be able to actually produce the kind of change that needs to happen in the world, right? Each generation has a set of questions that are unique to them. Are you answering them? Are you helping others? And when you get to, a little longer in the tooth and gray, as I am, are you actually preparing the way for other leaders to come in? And that's one of the things I love about BAC, is that, I'm in fellowship with with leadership that are 20, 30 years younger than me, but I feel very at peace with the leadership that's going to be happening with our movement. So I do think in this moment, just like we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint, at the end of our lives, what has been our social and racial justice footprint?
Yes.
Right? Do we leave this earth with more social justice and more racial justice in this world than we received it? And I think when we do that, that's when we're able to earn that.
That was profound.
Richard, you just, that's something.
I didn't
That's huge.
I didn't tell you all my grandfather was a Baptist preacher.
Firstly, you were giving preacher too. You
Well,
were
I got
giving
part
preacher
of
too.
it, but if I
saw
would read
that.
it, I would keep going,
I
right? And I would
was
pass
like,
the plate.
and what scripture? That sounds just like it's in the Bible.
That's
Absolutely, in the Black Bible.
That's huge.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. You know what I was, what do you think?
Well, I just want to say the social and racial justice footprint, to me, that is like, we need to think about that, like
sure.
at a serious level, and think about. It reminds me of Marian Kaba, who's a abolitionist, and she talks about, you know, what when people ask her, what can you do? What can I do? How do I become an abolitionist? How do I help my community? And she's like, you have to start. You have to start, and you have to start in what's in proximity to you.
Right.
Yes.
Right. A lot of people are like, I want to be a part of the movement, and they don't know their neighbor. They don't know what's going on in their community right there. So just what you said is making me think about, like, how can we just take the active steps? I'm also interested in your perspective, Chesray, as artistic director of BAC.
Yeah.
What comes up for you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we do well at BAC is we dream about how different the space should look. We care about who's in the room. We have meetings, y'all know this, meetings on meetings on meetings to discuss, is this room as diverse as it could be? Do we have varied representation at the table? Is everyone here? Are people who we're talking about in the space to talk about their own experiences, right? That's like in our essence. We don't necessarily like get trained on it, but the way in which we show up in our humanity and our black skin, like, I mean, it's already in the room, right? Like, we really care about who's in the room. And I think when you have that level of care and commitment to changing the room and redesigning who's in that space, you know, you take that with you everywhere. And I feel like at BAC, we all do really amazing work at BAC and outside of BAC. And I think we really take that kind of grounding with us wherever we go. And then I would say it's really in our programming. The people who come through BAC experiences talk about this often. They talk about this often. I felt at home. I felt like I belonged. I felt like there was joy in the room. Y'all are real kiki. We get that often, which they are.
Y'all play too much.
Y'all play too much. We get that too. Exactly. And I think when we care about the whole human and not just the trauma-based story and the worst aspects of our life, you know, then we get to build a room that's colorful the way that we do at BAC.
You know, Chesray, this segues to a thought that I have. So most justice impacted folks like myself, when we sort of like get an awakening from that experience, not that that experience gives us an awakening, when we take the initiative to get on the yellow brick road and have this awakening, we start operating from the construct of I am because we are, right? And because we are, therefore I am, which already sets the precedence that you got to be held accountable, like to whom much is given, much is also required. You have arrived at this place of consciousness. You have arrived at this place of awakening. However, now you are held accountable for that awakening, right? How are you going to move the ball? And so when we connect that discussion to Black Lives Matter, I've had several discussions about this also because it isn't the thing that we saying, yo, like we matter. We saying that we matter in addition to everybody else, right? We saying that white lives matter also, but we also saying that, yo, listen, we over here, we matter. But also in saying that we matter, it's also like there's a responsibility on blackness. There's a responsibility on the practitioners of blackness, right? How are you holding people accountable according to your beliefs? How are you holding your community accountable? How are you holding your biological sister accountable to this construct, right?
Not my sister. Yes.
Well, you know, I think that you mentioned humanity, right? And that's when you come to a space where you know when somebody's really seeing your full self, right? Not just the role that you walked in there, you feel it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are saying. And the way that you do that is we often live in the big moments, right? We think the big moments, but you know, and you have several big moments in your life, but you want to have millions of small moments, right?
Come on.
And it's when you're doing those small moments, when the camera's on, when you're not on social media, when no one is looking, what you do in that moment matters, right?
Yes.
So are you living Black Lives Matter in those moments, not just in front of the camera, right? And when you do that, when you begin to live it in a real way, that's why I always felt like one of the social love warriors was Mr. Rogers. He called out, but he lived love, right? He said love isn't sappy. Love is like struggle, right? It's hard, right? It's an action, right? And when you live that in the moments, in the small moments, people realize if the small moments matter to you, then I know the big ones are going to matter too, right? And I think that's the kind of space that we try to create, that the little things, you're not feeling right today, that matters right now, right? Yeah, we got a big thing going on, but you right now matter, right?
Yes.
And people remember that.
Come
right?
on.
So those kinds of connections I think are really critical. That's why I stay connected with BAC. When Lord knows I got a son who's 21, and I got a mother that I'm taking care of, but in this moment, I feel like this is a home to me, right? There's a connection here because in those small moments, that's when people see you, right? And that's when you know.
Rich, I have to jump in. So when I came in today just to do this thing, I had a toxic experience getting here, right? And so when I came through the door, listen, I was kind of weighty. And folks say, yo, Nkosi, you all right? And I'm like, no, listen, I had a moment. Despite the fact that we know we're here to talk about some of these heavy issues, folks stopped what they was doing and created community around me, right? And made sure that I came out my funk or that I was centered. And that's Black love, man. And that's community building.
Absolutely.
That's a demonstration of love being a verb.
That's right.
It's what you do when no one's watching.
Yes.
It's what you do when behind the cameras when we're checking in on you. It's what you do when the Tonys are over, right? And you go back to the work when you're in the meetings when no one cares about the middle stuff, but that's actually where the work is happening. The work is. Right? And on an individual level too, it's what you do when there's no one around to say good job, happy birthday, whatever it is. It's just what you did.
That's right.
Come on. Come on, give me a high five.
Wait a minute.
Don't leave him hanging, right?
That was really good.
That was good.